Listeners be advised. The Soliloquy podcast discuss matters related to the human experience and many that are sexual in nature. Due to this, some conversations may surround triggering topics such as sexual violence, self-harm, abuse, and much more. Please be advised, a list of crisis and psychological resources will be available in the show notes of this episode. With that said, let's get started with the show.
Ladies and gentlemen, may I have your attention please as we go through the following safety instructions.
In the event that there is a loss of cabin pressure, oxygen mask will drop from the overhead. Place the mask over your nose and mouth. Breathe normally as oxygen is flowing even if the mask is not in. Be sure to adjust your own mask before helping others.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Soliloquy podcast, where we step out and speak on sexuality. This is your favorite host, Vernon T. Scott, also known as Slaytor Jackson, and for you freaky motherfuckers out there, Sebastian Adams. On today's episode, we're just talking about some differences in ages. It's an age range.
And Sheena.
I fucking hate you, Shay. I have Shane on the line. I'm sorry. I have Shino. I forgot his last name.
Amarame. I got them bugs, bitch.
Oh my god. Are you young Shino or old Shino from
Old
Boruto?
nigga. Wait time I ain't young no more.
What? Honestly, I preferred him when he was
I turn
younger.
30 soon.
Younger Shino was better than older Shino. I'm sorry.
He is, but fuck it, Boruto sucks anyway.
I enjoy it as filler for the background at this point. I hate that because I had so much promise for the show because I was like, they're just doing a lot of filler to get
it's
everything
still funny
built.
how Sasuke almost murked his own daughter on site.
Girl, that shit was funny as hell. I was like, you're not even going to.
It took her quote unquote mother. I don't believe that shit. It's like, hey, this is your daughter. He's like, oh yeah, I do have a kid, right? I'm like, sir.
My thing is the fact
wait. Before we start going, we gotta stay on topic. We
are. It's the first 15 minutes. That'd be okay. My thing is, how is it that this man visits, late night and everything to see soccer every now and again because he be in the village at odd hours of the night and do not know who his daughter is?
He's telling her that he's in the village.
No, she said that she's seen him.
She sees him, but he doesn't talk to her.
You're right.
Why? Like, why is she
Sasuke's
married to a man that don't like her?
Why is this man everybody's favorite? Why is it that so many people connect with the fuck niggas in anime? Like first you have what's this Goku and motherfuckers love Sasuke, and both of them are
here's the main difference. I said it before. At least Sasuke acknowledges that he's a terrible father.
You're right, he does.
Sasuke's like, I don't know how to be your dad. I'm like, I can respect that.
Yeah, Goku ass is just like, you know what? A fighting opportunity? Bet.
I'm gonna throw my child first, like head first into this battle with a grown man.
And then have him be to the point that he's about to die, and then he surpasses his limits, about to murk a motherfucker, and he's just like, oh, do I want my kid to die in this moment, or do I want to
People say all they want to about Vegeta. He cares about his family.
Bruh.
Don't touch his Bulma.
Like, I love Vegeta. Vegeta is that motherfucker. Oh, okay.
Meanwhile, you can blow Chi-Chi up.
Stop.
Goku won't even notice.
He won't. Chi-Chi, I feel so bad for her, but she love her man. I don't.
Hey, she wants to be a dumb bitch. That's on her.
We all make choices in life, and she chooses him every single day, and we just have to accept that.
Meanwhile, Bulma has put Vegeta in his place despite not knowing how to fight. I'm like, hell yeah.
I just love
let's get on topic.
Difference there. But yeah, let's get into this age range.
The best father overall, though, is still gonna be
Piccolo.
On nigga Piccolo.
Hmm. So, one of the things that we talked about in the intake meeting for this episode is just, general differences in age. How, there can be an age gap within relationships. Sometimes it may be 10 years, 5 years, 3, 4. And I saw something yesterday on I think it was Instagram where it was apparently 50 plus years. I think it was a 19-year-old marrying a 68-year-old. And I'm like, okay, if this is something that's, you're consenting to, you're a consenting adult
You
at
said
this point.
90 and 60?
I said 19
Oh, 1-9?
and 19 and like
Okay.
68. So, if you're an adult, and I just, at this point, as long as there was something that was not existing prior to whatever the fuck this is, and it was
Mhm.
all legal and consensual, it's none of my damn business
Yeah.
because
It
whatever.
may be all legal and consensual. I'm still going to side eye.
Hmm?
I'm still going to side eye
Yeah, definitely side eye.
certain, like, really, because you know what red pill is?
You talking about like the Matrix related red pill?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the motherfucker's like, if you date a woman with a baby, she's used up, yada, yada, yada. Those type
Hmm.
of red pill.
Hmm.
Yeah, I've been hearing this a lot with them, like dating younger women because they are, in their words, less sexually used up.
The hell?
Yeah.
Just because they can't find women their own age, they'll tolerate their shit.
Exactly. Oh, I forgot to mention, this episode does feature Nate. Hey, Nate.
Nate is my fiance. He's home during one of these recordings, which is a little on the rare side, but he's here and this man is vocal and sassy, so
Yeah, but he
buckle
made
up,
a good
y'all.
point. He did make a good point
No, like
because they
that's
can't get. Hmm.
what I was gonna lead into as well, because it's like these men are in their late 30s, about to hit 40, but they're talking about older women as if they're not worth the time because they are too experienced. Like, I'm not saying this is all men. This is like this particular sector of a
Hmm.
community that is just interesting, to put it nicely.
Hmm.
And they're constantly talking about how older women are more experienced, but they mean that they've had too much quote unquote dick
Hmm.
in their life. So therefore, you should go for a younger woman because she won't be as experienced and all that type of nonsense, which I find to be very short sighted,
Hmm.
because there are some older women that were very promiscuous, yes, but there are also a lot that been in a lot of long term relationships, so they had like one or two partners.
Hmm.
Meanwhile, it could be the exact same for the younger generation. Like, some of them could have been very promiscuous at a young age. I remember hearing about it when I was like, what, 22, that some girls were having sex at like 13, 14 years old. And I'm like, damn, when I was that age, I was waiting for my Saturday cartoons to pop on the
Same.
morning and the nighttime cartoons. That way, when I go to school on Monday, I can talk it up with my friends.
Exactly.
But as I get older, I'm hearing like more girls are having sex younger and younger, which I blame on a lot of things. One, the number one is like parents not being parents.
Mm.
My parents were on top of me and my siblings. I'm not even like, yeah, as we got older, we got more freedom. And that's how two of my sisters ended up getting pregnant in high school. So yeah, like, so when I say I blame it on parents, I mean like a lot of them just don't care nowadays,
Hmm.
or they're too like, they're gonna be kids, it's gonna happen.
Yeah.
My parents held my siblings accountable when they got pregnant. They had to get jobs. So like, you want to do adult shit, now you gotta take care of your kid. Like, the kid was already covered on insurance of my parents. They're like, we are paying the biggest bill,
Hmm.
this one time big bill. The birth, your hospital stay, the baby's birth, and all the checkups because the baby's on their health insurance. They're like, we're paying the biggest part of your finances, the medical bills. You just gotta pay for diapers and clothes.
Mm.
So like my older siblings had to get jobs when they decided to do adult shit, but that's also because they were listening to a lot of their friends
Mm.
when they were saying like condoms make sex feel weird or it's not as good.
Girl,
I and
that's
apparently
my.
that's also a sentiment that is still being said. A lot of people say it in their songs
Hmm.
nowadays. like fucking raw, how good it feels, how great it is. And it's like y'all just aren't going to talk about the part two that happens after having sex without a condom, like the you need to have a morning after pill on the ready, go to the or be willing to go to the pharmacy and pay for that
Hmm.
ridiculously expensive pill.
Especially these days.
You don't talk about the potential risk of STDs, some curable, some aren't. Like, well, yeah, you can put some like HIV and AIDS to the point where it's non-detectable in your blood, but no one talks about how expensive that medication is.
Hmm.
So it's like all these talks like, oh yeah, sex like this is great, but it's like, so what about the second half? It's like they stop. It's like, oh, it's very sensationalized, like fucking without a condom.
It's just so irresponsible in
It
terms of like
really
the
is.
media,
And
the
I think that also plays into some age gaps
hmm as
because who I am today at 29 is not the same as I was at 18, 19, 20, and all that. I'll say there wasn't much of a change. Like, yeah, I grew some maturity between 18 and 21, but I was still very much like, whoa, let's go out, let's have fun, let's enjoy life. Now at 29, it's like I can still go out and have fun, but I also gotta remember that I'm an adult that will face adult consequences.
mm, that
So
part.
let's be real, when we were like in our early 20s, we weren't really thinking about those consequences when we were doing ridiculous and illegal things at times. Like, let's be real, because some of the things we did as in our early years, like we could drive, we can do this, we can do that. Now at 29, it's like I have a career now.
A family.
Like I have things that I could really lose. Yeah, in the beginning of like after graduating, we're about what 21, 22,
Hmm.
just starting our careers. We weren't really thinking about things like that. Like some probably were like let's be real. Some kids are a lot more mature at that age, but there are circumstances that led into that. Sometimes in some cases, some kids are just mature regardless what happens in their life, while others had traumas that caused them to be a little bit more mature.
Hmm.
So I really do believe like when it comes on the age gaps, it depends on the individual.
Yeah.
Because yeah, I met some people that are younger than me in the current age that are very mature. But talking to them and getting to know them, they had circumstances in their lives that forced them to mature a little bit faster than others. Meanwhile, you probably have too met people who are older than I am who act worse than 13-year-olds.
Girl. Way too many. Way too fucking many.
So it really depends on the individual, and I also say like circumstances in their lives and life choices. Like I have a coworker whose mother, I once fuck it. She's fucking insane, but she was a drug addict. She's clean now,
Hmm.
but she's now in her late 20s. Her mother recently was has been clean for she's 26. Her mother got clean and officially and stayed clean when she was 22.
Mm.
And she had two younger siblings who were about 3 to 4 years younger than she was. So she had to grow up to take care of them because their mother was
Was not gonna be around.
barely like conscious enough to even remember to buy milk. So like she's very mature. Like I said, she's 26. She could put like a lot of people who've been on this planet for decades to shame with her maturity
Mm.
in a way that she can handle stressful and complicated situations. Like she is very mature. People think like, oh, that's because she's 26. No, when you listen to her and you talk to her and listen to her like how she grew up, she had no choice in the matter. It was either she matured or her and her younger siblings weren't going to eat. Her mother wouldn't have made it to her bed, kind of deal. It's like a lot of people live through those situations, and I believe people fail to take that into account in some places. It's like, okay, so what is this person's story? Like, why are they, let's say, like they're 22 dating a 53-year-old? What's going on here? What is their story? Now, if they're like just wanting to have fun and go out and do whatever, I'm like, okay, this person's a little bit immature. Like they're still in the mindset of a 23-year-old, and this person who's twice their age, so over twice their age, like, so what are you seeing in this 23-year-old outside of a young person that can help you feel young again.
Mm-hmm.
But if they're 23, but they've had circumstances that, or they're just very mature in general, like actually mature and not being told that they're mature, like how some people groom younger people
Mm-hmm.
by saying like, "Oh, you're very mature for your age." No, they're mature for like that, like actually mature. Then it's like, okay, I can see it. This person probably weighed all the pros and cons going into this relationship and go from there. Like, yeah, well, I still think it's a bit weird, but like you said, they're consenting adults. It's not really my business. As long as it's
Mm-hmm.
a healthy, consensual relationship, that's all we can really go off about it. But there
Yeah.
are some cases where it's obviously about the money.
Look, look.
Like,
Find me.
regardless of the gender,
There be some of those. Like,
like you can
okay.
tell it's like, okay, this is obviously about the money.
Like
But
if you're on death's door and you just want somebody to love you up until that point and you want to pay them and make sure that they're secure for the rest of their life, fine
hey,
burning.
that's your business.
Look, I'm okay
I'll
with
be
it.
taking applications for said job.
Look, I'm here for it. What do you want? How do you want to go out? How do you want to be taken care of? Yeah, I'm here for you there.
Yeah, I'm like, shit, as long as you leave me a little chunk of change.
I love you.
Yeah.
But
So
like,
it's like with age gaps, yeah, sometimes I do get a little side eye when I
mhm.
hear the person's like twice the age of the other.
The Holiloquy podcast focuses on the variability of sexual expression. When it comes to sexual expression, we often depend on pornography to illustrate how one must perform sexually. For those who have not learned this by now, the stuff you see in porn is not real. Pornography provides a singular perspective of sexual expression that is not often the reality we see during our own sexual encounters. The Holiloquy podcast is a conversation that takes you outside of the compressed box of what many know about sex. Some of the topics we discuss includes kinks, condom usage, status disclosure, and past sexual experiences. The Holiloquy podcast steps out on sexual norms and recognizes that the norm is not the only normal. Subscribe today and join the conversation. Love you.
Yeah.
But
So
like,
it's like with age gaps, yeah, sometimes I do get a little side eye when I hear the person's like twice the age of the other. That's either gender. I don't play this. Oh, you wouldn't say anything if it was a man and like a older man, younger woman. I'm like, no,
I will.
I side eyed it regardless, especially if they're still 18, 19 years old and the person's like 30, like over like late 20s and up.
Mm-hmm.
Like I side eyed it no matter what the circumstances are. I'm like the person you are at 18 versus like for me and I'll use myself as an example. Me at 18 is nowhere near who I am now.
Same. And that's a
So
good
it's
thing, people.
like, are they still gonna like this person as they grow up and mature?
Mm-hmm.
So it's
Like,
like,
there was this video I was watching. It was through one of those conversations. It's a podcast, but one of the dudes, he was just blatant about it. He was like, rather than using the word experience, he said what it was. He was like, he preferred younger women because not necessarily because don't they don't have as much sex or anything, but he was like, because they're very impressionable. And I'm like, I'm glad that you know that you're preying on these people, because you
yeah,
understand that because they're impressionable, you can mold them to
influence.
how you want them to be. And that's predatory behavior, to be
Yes.
completely real, like,
That's
sir.
why I side eye a lot of people. I'm like, yeah, this person, yeah, I'll give him some. It's like, okay, this person's very mature, yada yada, but it's still the fact like they're still young.
Mm-hmm.
Because I did say like I still side eye no matter what. Like
Mm-hmm.
they're still adults. They can agree and disagree with what they want, but they are still learning what adulthood is in some cases.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, oh, like they're still experiencing life in the world. Like they're developing or searching deeper into what they like and dislike. Like they like, oh, I like this year, but exploring it more, they're like, okay, I like aspects of it, but I'm not fully on board.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's what a lot of people learn, like especially in their sexual life. Like they'll hear something like, okay, I really like this, but come to find out, like they like aspects of it.
Yep. Like I think because one of the things that comes to mind whenever I think about age differences and it being such a huge gap, because the first thought is that power dynamic, and if this
Yeah.
person is engaging with this person because they want to have control over them. But I also think for like those individuals who are on the mature side, or if they're engaging with somebody who's not predatory, we it's great to have that open space that it is possible that this other individual does have autonomy and they
Yeah.
are allowed to grow. But it's just we don't necessarily always see that. We don't get that in the media that we watch or even the
No.
conversations because it's it's the predators, the predatory people are the loudest voices out there too.
Yes.
So it's like you get to a space where you're just like, I don't trust this person because I know I've engaged with like had sexual encounters with people who were well older than me, but
Uh-huh.
they were not seeking me because of my youth. They were
Yeah.
seeking me because I was seeking them for sex.
Yeah.
So it's like understanding and knowing the nuance of that gap is important, but we do still have to be mindful of those predatory motherfuckers because they are out here loud.
Loud and proud too. It's like, damn.
Like,
Like
hmm
like I realized decades ago it was normal for like a 26-year-old to look at a 17-year-old. No questions asked. Nothing wrong with it. Hell, there are songs about it, waiting for a girl to
hmm
turn 16 so they can ask their parents to take them on a date. It's like, oh God.
hmm
Like these are love songs from that decade.
Yep.
So it's like looking back at it now, I already know my mom would have suplexed the motherfucker for looking at me too long. My dad would have took out some eyeballs.
hmm
But a couple of decades ago, that was normal.
hmm It's like for like most definitely when it comes to those people who are like underage and whatnot, and this is a age group that is exploring themselves a little bit more and feeling a little bit more of I want to try sex with somebody and I want to try it be it with someone their own age or a little bit older, and it's like we don't have that conversation of like, okay, what is a safe range for these people? And on top of that, because we don't have great like sex
Comprehensive sex
ed,
ed. Yeah.
yeah, it's like they won't have that space to communicate with their parents as well as someone in their community to be like, hey,
Yeah.
this person is
I
26
don't.
years old.
Yeah.
Don't don't do that. But this
Yeah.
person, they're 18, y'all went to high school together. If you feel comfortable with them, have that
Uh huh.
conversation. Please keep your parents in the loop about who you are talking to and choosing
Yes.
to date.
My parents, especially mainly my mother. My dad didn't know how to talk to his daughters about sex. I'm not sure. I'm especially me because I am his youngest daughter. I'm his baby girl. Okay, I'm not gonna lie. He accepted Nate when I told him like, hey, I'm dating him. He's 5 years older than I am. There is this like age gap between me and my fiance. It's only 5 years. I I was basically 28 when we met. So for us, like I was well into adulthood when we met. Now, can that be said for everybody else? No. My dad did raise a little eyebrow. He was like, he's how old? He was 33 when we met. I was going on 28. So my dad was a little like, okay. But at the same time, I was already 28.
Hmm
So he knew I was making an informed decision because at this point, I am well into my career. I had my own place, had my own car. I paid my all my bills on my own. I took care of my dog on my own. So he's like, okay, you are stable. You know what you want. I'll go with it. Then he met him. He was like, okay, he's a good guy.
Mm-hmm. It
Then you
is.
guys met him. So it's like I I made that decision because I was old enough and I knew what to look for in a decent, reliable partner. Like my parents gave me and my siblings all the tools to do it, but for some reason, my older siblings felt that my parents know what they were talking about. Classic thought process.
Mm-hmm.
Or they felt like they were being like our parents were trying to control them. Cause I'm gonna be real. My older brother has 3 kids. He had no business having. He's a deadbeat father.
Damn.
He doesn't. I'll be honest with that.
Mm-hmm.
My dad has been pushing this kid to get a job, but my stepmother enables him far too much. So there is that. My stepbrother is one of the individuals who's in his 30s but acts worse than a 13-year-old.
Ugh. So
My older
unattractive.
sister, she's a little bit more mature, but she refuses to let go of a deadbeat nigga.
Mm.
And then there's me. My dad wasn't sure if I would fall into that cycle too, but here I am, no kids at 29 and engaged.
So for your
So
sister.
it's like it's very interesting that people are like, well, the parents didn't do anything. Sometimes the parents did all they could.
Mm-hmm.
Kids are individuals, and for some reason, you mainly see it among the black children in the black community where they think the quote unquote hood life is the best life they want.
Ooh, girl, don't get me started on that. That
So I
those.
think that also plays
Ooh.
into the age gap because they like we want a rough and tough kind of guy, but in reality, they don't know what that is. So they fall into like these terrible cycles in relationships where like we talked about before, where the violence equals love, the disrespect equals love. They say like, oh, that's normal for that age group. Because you hear it a lot in our generation or in just in general, where it's like a certain age group is allowed to be disrespectful towards another because like oh they're from a different time, they're from this and that.
Mm,
So when I see men from that area when they say like oh this is a different time date a younger woman, is like what are your motives? And I say
mm,
younger, I mean like 23 to 18.
mm-hmm.
Like you said, those who are loud and proud and blatant about them being predatory, like these are women at that sometimes even 24 who are still discovering things and about who they are and what they want.
Exactly. Like, I'm going to mention a couple things. Well, with
Uh-huh.
your brother, fuck
Yeah,
it,
no, yeah.
nothing.
Fuck that.
At least I hope for your sister. I hope that the man she's dealing with at least has some good dick. And if that's the case, girl, accept the good dick and go on to somebody else. It's like use him for sex only, girl. Let the man go, please,
It's
please.
just a cycle. I'm getting tired of two of them. My aunt's like, are my nieces and nephews okay? I don't even care about my siblings anymore. I'm like, are my nieces and nephews okay?
Mm,
That's how tired of it we are.
I can understand.
But
That's
yeah,
a mess. Now,
it is.
I love that you did mention like people wanting more hood niggas and all this other stuff because it reminds me of like the role media plays and how it messages to us about what we desire and what we want and all of that. Because what most definitely if we're in a society where it's all about the money and the commodity and what this person can pay for, we know that sometimes for the most part. Let me change that because I know a lot of broke dope boys. But you have that
How
you
can you be
see
a
them,
broke
girl.
doughboy? Isn't that the point of the
Exactly,
doughboy?
exactly, because they don't know how to use their money. Um, it's like
What? So
what
what you're
you're
saying is
doing it
that they
wrong.
get money and they spend it on stupid shit.
Hmm.
Okay, that
Exactly,
sounds about right with a lot of people, and like, especially the younger ones. Fuck it, there's no especially the younger ones. The older people do it too. Once they get a little chunk of change, they gotta go buy the most expensive item they can get their hands on for no reason.
girl, for no
There's no
reason.
such thing as investing or saving.
Now, I will say, my poison is food because look, I was
Listen,
spend
mine are shoes and clothes,
girl,
but
I
I
was
know my
spend the
limit
money
when
on
I
some
can.
food. Oh
But I
yes,
buy a lot of my stuff on sale.
that part. that part. And
Like
it's
I
like,
look cute on a budget.
look, it's like I'm not going to make myself broke on some fast food
Just
because one, I know
like
how
to
to
stun
cook.
on people. Like what am I flexing for? I got my I live okay, it's not my house, but I live in the house. I got a car, I got a good job, I got my fiance, got my dogs, my ducks, and my chickens. I am very content with my life.
Mm-hmm.
I don't need to go out and buy the most expensive thing I get my hands on just to show like I got money. I'm happy. Sometimes happy is just being like just showing up and being like, today's a good day.
Exactly.
Sometimes happiness shows being at peace with yourself. That's if you're alone or in a relationship. Is being at peace with yourself is the best you can do for anything,
Mm-hmm.
especially for people who hate you for no like haters. If you just show that you're at peace with yourself at all times of the day, they hate it.
Oh, I love them so much. Like,
Like if you just show them, just like man, today's a good ass day. I'm gonna get a taco. I know this is throwing out random things, but
with a taco now.
they will just hate it for no reason. It's like they think they're better than everybody. No, I'm just happy.
Mm-hmm.
Like I found peace with myself. Yeah, was it an easy road? No, and that's why it's the best victory I could ever have.
Mm-hmm.
I beat myself.
Girl, why you speaking words today? Why what is with people sending me to church on the Sunday recordings? Like what is this?
Listen,
But I
but that
agree.
plays a thing in age gaps. The thing is, you can find peace with yourself at any age
Mm,
if you
let
do
them
it
know.
properly.
Let them know, girl.
That's why I wait to hear the story behind some of these age gap relationships before I fully judge. Sometimes I just now if I see a hear a teen at the end of that age for whether it's male or female, because I think a lot of people overlook the predatory behavior of women
Mm,
when it comes down to younger men, which I do think needs to be talked about more because young men also deserve to be protected
mm,
because um, traumatized and tortured young men becomes bitter and abusive older men. Just like
mm.
it's the same with women. They both need to be protected and looked after, no matter what gender they identify as. They're young and vulnerable. It doesn't
Mm.
matter what their gender is. People can be influenced at any age or gender. So it's like
Yep.
they need to be properly guided because I'm getting tired of this toxic thought like this is what it means to be a man and
Mm.
whatnot, but there's no real guidelines on how to be a decent human being.
Girl. Oof. Preach on it. And like even the scenario I mentioned at the start of the show with the 19 and 68-year-old, it was a older woman and this young boy. And I'm like, well, young man, he's 19, but still
Fuck, you can call him
mental
a boy
young boy.
because I don't know what it is. Like I still call 19-year-old girls girls.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, listen, you may have lived a lot of like gone through a lot in your life, but at the end of the day, you're still a young girl,
Mm-hmm.
still a young lady.
You still got growing to do, and you still have a lot of life to live. You still have a lot of things to experience. Like even when I was dating my ex, who 6 years younger than me, is like I don't want to be any kind of influence of what you do in terms of your life
Yeah.
because you being a lot younger, just now, I think 21 at the time, just now getting the privileges to drink and party the way
Yeah.
that you want to party, do you? Like, I've done my 21
Oh man.
and done it.
Man, we woken up drunk still one day. We're like, how?
Like, young people still have so much that they can do, and to be
Like still
someone to
experience.
block that,
Yeah.
like, that's my main concern when I do see these age gaps. Like, is this person here to limit all that this person could do? Like these men who say that
Or
they want,
nurture and let it grow.
right, these men who say that because they're impressionable, they don't want anybody with all these bodies and all this other stuff.
Mhm.
And I'm like, you want somebody that you can manipulate. You want somebody that you feel comfortable enough with saying, this is how adults do things,
Mhm.
because you're too small of a person to realize that you need to grow up, that you need to
Yeah,
do better for yourself. But rather than doing that, you find somebody who doesn't know and
yeah,
hope that plays out for you.
yeah.
And yet you
Like,
want to see yourself as the manly man, the alpha male, or whatever the case is.
oh God, yeah. So we're not the thing. A lot, age gaps don't also have to just be in like romantic relationships. It can be in
Mm,
platonic relationships. Like I'm not the oldest. Even though I'm the manager, I am not the oldest in my building. There is a lady who is far older than all of us.
mm,
She is a senior citizen, but she's cool as the dickens. I love her to pieces. Like she's absolutely precious. I love her. But two of my other like staff members, they just turned 22.
mm,
Here I am at 29, and it's like I can honestly feel the experience difference between us. The age is one thing, but the experiences of life, I can feel it. A lot of things they're talking about to me with like they talk to me about several things because I became that manager that they can confide in and ask me for my advice and stuff like that. Because the manager they had before me was, and that's currently another location causing hell on earth, made that place hell on earth. It literally took me 3 months to get them comfortable enough just to address me with a concern or a question without feeling like they're going to be spoken down to about it.
mm.
I was like, if you have a question, come to me. That is what I'm here for. I can literally do all three of their jobs with no problem. So it's like, if you have a question, ask. If you need a sounding board for an idea, come to me. I am here to help you grow. I compare them to bonsai trees. They each had their own direction that they're going to grow in. Like, because they all have their own strengths, which I'm fine with. Go for it. Everyone has a strength in something that they excel at, and they have their weaknesses. I let them grow and explore in what they're strong in, while I'm clipping off those stray weeds to help them fix their weaknesses.
Mm.
So it's like that's what I compared them to. I compare they're my little bonsai garden. I let them grow in the areas that they excel in while I'm also trimming off these straight edges. That way their weaknesses won't hold them back.
See,
So it's like age gaps in working relationships can also be beneficial because it's like I know what you're going through, I know what you're trying to do. So I'm going to guide you in that direction that you want to go in while helping you clip off these weaknesses. While they're not going to be as strong as what you excel in, but they're not going to hold you back.
mm,
So it's like age, but some people can flip it and just be like, I know better because I've been doing this longer. So you're gonna listen to how I want it done. I'm like, that's not how you lead. That's not
that's
how you let someone be their authentic self. So it's like I've taken my job as manager very seriously, and I let my employees come to me with ideas. I asked them like, "Hey, is this what you want to do?" Because one of my staff members was forced to do a computer class every week that he didn't want to do. So we talked about it. It's now they sign up for a particular lesson, and whoever is available that knows how to do it will take it.
mm,
And it also helps. It also allows my older staff member who's not that good in technology to help out as well because we do have some older patrons who grew up in a time where education versus survival was a thing.
mm,
They had to drop out of school at a young age to get a job to help take care of their family. So some of them cannot read.
mhm,
And because they feel a little bit more comfortable with someone older like themselves, she steps up and like, they come in and we read their mail to them. But they feel less judged with someone close to their age, which I completely understand. And I make sure my staff knows like, hey, it's not their fault. They grew up in a very different time that allowed us the privilege to go to school.
mm,
So like that's how I use the age gap in my life as management. I help my younger, like they're 22. They're still trying to figure out what they want as a career.
mhm,
So like you're good in the technology realm, let's focus on that. You'll teach our 3D classes, you'll help them figure out how much it costs, you'll take care of the paying operations of it. It's your class. You design it. You control it. I'll step in and help when needed, but this is your brainchild.
Girl, can I work for you?
Look, that's the thing. I actually have people from other branches come to me for support as a manager, and I'm like, this should not happen. You should not have to reach out to a branch to another manager to feel supported when your manager is literally right there in that building. But this is also the same manager that just left my building
Girl.
and made it super hard for me to get those two 22-year-olds to look at me for support because they were so used to being like knocked down and lectured for no damn reason.
Right.
Only time I lectured one of my staffers for the first time is because of inconsistency in attendance. I'm like, listen, I know his family pretty much shares his car.
Mm.
So he has to drive them around, do things for them. It makes him late to work sometimes. I'm like, listen, I understand you want to be a good son, a good brother, but you have to tell them that it's starting to affect your employment.
Mm.
Because he's already been written up for this once. Me and him had a very calm talk about it. I'm like, listen, I understand that you have some family commitments. I commend you for that. You are a great brother, son, and uncle. But you do have to understand that this is starting to affect your employment. He loves his job. He loves what he does. He loves the freedom that I give him. But I also had to remind him, like, hey, you gotta start putting some things in perspective. You gotta tell your family they gotta get another vehicle. They all work.
Mm.
Because at the end of the day, I can only do so much in my position to keep him employed until the upper's like, listen, we gotta write him up.
Yeah.
So it's like I use an age gap in a professional world to guide those who are just starting out. Because, like, listen, I've been there. I know what it's like to be like, what do I want to do? I'm good at this, but I also enjoy doing that. I'm like, listen, you pick an area you want to focus in, I will help you in the rest.
I love that. See, Shane, this is what for those who don't understand what is going on, this is what leadership looks like. This is what it yes to all of that. Like,
Because, like, when we talk about age gaps, relationships, age gaps can also be in the professional, friendship, romantic, and things like that.
everywhere.
So it's like you can have older friends, but are those friends actually supporting you? Are they
Mm.
giving you good advice? Like our friend group, we're all about the same age, give or take like a year or so between the youngest and the oldest. But at the end of the day, like we have each other's back. We're there to lend advice. We're there to calm each other down or put things in perspective for the other. Like what I'll use myself for as an example. That way I don't put anyone else on the spot. That post I made about being biased about another classmate. Like she's still super fucking annoying,
Mhm.
but you guys helped me put in perspective that yeah, I was probably being a bit biased in my feelings towards her for a
Mhm.
particular situation because that question could be the question asked could be sensitive to other people.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, now this is what it means to be in a friendship that has a variety of ages, but we can all come together and be like, okay, this is how we're seeing it. This is how it's playing out for us. But we all do it in such a way where it's constructive and helpful for each other. We're not putting each other down. Sometimes again, we are on some nonsense. But when it comes down to serious conversations, we are there.
Mhm.
So it's like that's what it means to be like a healthy relationship if there is an age gap.
Yeah. Get you
It's
some
like if you can't
friends.
trust the person you're with, no matter the age gap, then why are you there? Like if you can't trust them to give you sturdy, solid advice that's actually useful and that won't lead you down a wrong path later on, what's the point? If they're not there to help you grow, but to keep you where you at or to guide you in the way that they want you to go and not where you want to go, okay, unless that route you want to go is destructive. So we do have to be a
You're
little bit
right.
more
You're right.
objective about that. Like if you just want to party, and drink every day and every night, then
You need
I'm sorry
somebody
to
to
tell you, but
try to
that's
change that
not,
behavior.
yeah. And if that person doesn't tell you that, then they're not there for you.
Mm-mm.
Because let one of us come out like, man, all I want to do is party and drink every day.
Are you
We're
okay?
holding a group intervention. We're like, hold up.
What's going on? Hold up.
Yeah,
Every day, bitch. What you mean?
every day. Like if you're doing it
Define
once a
every
month, we're
day.
like, okay, that's a good way to go out, have some fun, relieve some stress. But if it's every day, we're like, hold up. Are you okay?
Let's
What's
talk about
going
it.
on? So
Look.
it's like age gaps can affect your relationship in many ways. There's romantic, professional, and friendship. And then there's also family.
Mm,
Me and my siblings have a couple age gaps. Between me and my youngest brother, there's 9 years, practically 10 between us. But he knows he can call me at any time. And I'm like, what's up, little bro? What's wrong? What's going on? Like he just graduated high school back in
mm,
like last May. Last May. I'm so proud of him. I am honestly so proud of him from the moment he began to end and where he is now. But before he graduated, he went to prom, classic end of high school stuff. He called me because he was asked to prom by a girl who had a boyfriend. She told him that her boyfriend was fine with it, but he was like, sus, sus. So he called his big sis. He called me. We have an older sister, but he called me because he knows like I'm the more level headed. I'll help him work through this. And the fact that we're also very close is like the 10-year age gap. Like it says a lot. I've been out of college for a couple years now. It's been 10 years since I started college from the start.
mm, we
And he's
aged.
now graduating. He was just now graduating high school. That's a good age gap.
Mm-hmm.
So he called me one day. He was like, all right, so I need to ask you some questions and tell you about some things. I'm like, whoa, 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 calm down. Start from the beginning. So he told me the story. I'm like, first thing first, talk to the boyfriend.
Mm,
She very well could be telling the truth. But on the flip side, she could be just saying this to get him mad because we don't know why. But for some reason, making your partner mad is like the newest trend in romance.
mm-hmm. It shows
Don't
how
know
much they
why.
love you if they're jealous.
Yeah. Or like if they don't hunt you down based off like your location, you should, yeah, that's super shit. But
Yeah.
I'm like, talk to him. If it's true that she told the girl told my brother that her boyfriend didn't want to go, but she did want to go. I'm like, talk to him, see if that's the case. If it is, that's up to you if you want to go with her or not. Make sure she understands it's platonic and go from there. Come to find out she was telling the truth and they went as friends. He
Well,
had a good time. So like he knows he can call me and be like, hey big sis, I just need to know some advice real quick. He's done it several times before. He's called me when he was mad or upset. My little brother had some really had some mental health problems when he was younger. And he would just call me off the blue. And I'm like, what's up? What's going on? I remember there was one day he literally just left the house and just started walking. My mom was panicking because he just walked out the house. He was going through a moment.
mm-hmm.
He wouldn't answer our mother's call, but he did answer mine. I'm like, I told him to stop and sit down somewhere and just breathe and think. I talked to him through it was an hour phone call, but afterwards he called our mother and she came to pick him up. So my little brother, he knows that he can call me and big sis will have his back. Hell, there's been times my little sister's called me. I've called our mom ready to cuss her out. I'm like, what? Why are my little siblings calling me in this condition? Mama, you got 4 seconds to explain to me why my little sibling is calling me in tears.
Mm.
Like, don't get me wrong, like I love my mother, I show her ultimate respect. But when it comes to my little siblings, I'm like, Ma, you and I will have to fight. Well, the thing is, both my younger siblings grew up in a different way than me and my older sister. There's 5 years between me and my little sister. My older sister and I grew up with our mother in poverty.
Mm-hmm.
She started making a little bit more money. That's my little sister came. Then she made more money. And my little brother came. So both my little brother and my little sister didn't grow up the way that the older two did, which we're happy for. That they didn't understand what it was like to eat very little. They've always had food.
Mm.
As like when I was young, I was a little bitter, but as an adult, I'm like, I'm so happy they never gone through that. So age gaps can affect a lot of different relationships in different ways. Being an older sibling with an age gap, there is a certain responsibility. For some reason, some older siblings hate their younger siblings in an age gap situation.
We usually have to take care of the younger sibling.
Okay, that is
Yeah.
true. Like, don't get me wrong, I did take care of my younger siblings to an extent, but it wasn't detrimental to me. So it depends. But like Nick said, some are parent. They do have to be parentified,
Hmm.
while others, some of them are well out the house. Some of them are literally like 18, going to college. They're like, I hate my younger sibling. I'm like, okay, weird flex, but
Get
okay.
over it. Your younger sibling did nothing. I get the, typical sibling rivalry, but look, hate, they're a
Yeah, me and
child.
my siblings fight all day, every day. Give us a chance. Don't make us play Monopoly together. Oh Lord.
Look,
Whew.
I've,
But never
I've,
mind. No. Candyland and Shoots and Ladders, we were ready to throw blows. My brother literally flipped. What is that doctor game? You had to pull out the bones
oh,
and stuff.
that's Operation.
Yeah, my little brother hated Operation.
Look, I
He was like,
know,
you know what? He flipped it over. We're like, God damn.
like with my siblings, like love them, but we had our dramas in the past. But look, we
Man,
ain't gonna fuck
nothing
with none of them.
like
None of them,
there's no drama like sibling drama.
girl, none.
Man, especially let be like some nonsense, like some food. Like, who ate the last Fruit Loop? Who ate the last fruit of the foot? Did you eat my gushers?
Charles, the
Like, I
drama,
remember, what was it? I remember, you ever have to go through extreme lengths to hide a snack from a sibling?
of course.
Man, I
Don't
remember
touch my
literally
shit.
I put a Twix bar in the ice box
Wow. Oh,
just
I
to
know that
make sure
thing
I needed it
tasted
when I
good.
got home from school.
I know it tasted good too. Nice frozen crunch. Don't tell me you
Mm-hmm.
didn't get to eat it.
Oh, I ate that.
Oh, okay. I was about to say, damn.
Shit. I was on my period too. I came home from school, literally reached into that ice box and pulled out that golden packet. Yeah,
I
you thought I had a whole, I found a new religion that day. Man, I was happy.
I'm done with you. Oh
But
God.
there was one time though, like my parents regretted creating me because I got both of their spitefulness, stubbornness, and I'm outrageously smart.
Mm.
I'm literally the smartest of my siblings. I have six of the motherfuckers. I'm the smartest and the exact middle child. I literally suffered from middle child syndrome. I was there, my nigga. I'm like, man, this is a nice existence. I was so blended in. They're like, oh yeah, she's here somewhere. That's how I got away with a lot of shit. They knew I did it, they couldn't prove it. Like, kick it. I was on my period. You don't mess with a teenage girl already going through heightening hormones for no reason while on her period. He ate the a ding dong that I wanted. I had one ding dong. It was in the refrigerator. It was waiting for me. It was nice and chocolatey with the cream center. I got home, shit was gone. Couldn't find my older brother ate it. So I baked a batch of cookies. I cooked a batch for him separately. I gave everyone their cookies. I gave him his cookies. His cookies had chocolate laxatives in it.
Ew, so horrible. Oh my God.
Oh yeah, he landed in the hospital due to dehydration. I'm like, you gonna eat my snacks again now, are you, bitch?
Oh my Lord. Y'all, she's a felon. Oh my God.
Oh yeah, I'm a whole criminal. The things I did as a teenager, but my older brother is also trash, so I have no guilt for what I did to him growing up in our teen years. He's also quite abusive in a sense. He
Mm,
hit me once. It was the first and last time he has ever hit me.
hit ass up.
Oh yeah, I lit his ass with the Luna baseball bat from the garage and left him in the kitchen.
Jesus. This is why you don't put your hands on people.
Especially a crazy one too. That's what they say about us cancers, right?
You're right.
I'm like, listen, I'm cool as hell. Just don't bother me. Once you bother me, that's a whole nother lesson of life. But anyways, back to the topic of age gaps. Age
Girl.
gaps can be useful as well as damaging. It all depends on the relationship and how it's handled.
And that's that on that. Now, I would say to close everything out because my like stomach is growling and you said tacos and now I want Taco Bell.
Oh
So
yeah. You know, tacos. Man, I haven't had taco in a while now. We need to make tacos.
He said, "You gonna make those tacos?"
He said, "You hear what he said after that?
What he say after that?
You know how to cook."
Mm, mm. See, this is what you get for knowing how to throw down in the damn kitchen. Your
Man,
ass want to
this is
cook,
how
you
he
gonna
talks to me. He's like, "Why?" He says that, but he's gonna make tacos for me. He spoils me quite nicely.
which we love.
You always advertising how you know how to cook.
I do know how to cook.
Prove it then.
You always just happen to
Not
cook before I
prove
get home
it.
from work.
You mean to tell me Shay hasn't cooked for you yet, Nate?
I have cooked for him plenty of times. Yeah, now I live with you, and you just
I get it. Look, you gotta prove you know how to cook for this woman because she ain't.
even then you already know what you're going to cook. So it's like I wake up and stuff is prepped out the freezer the night before.
Hold the fuck up. I've known Shane for like,
You want to eat, you need to pull it out.
10 years.
yeah, I think you only cooked for me twice.
You're never here.
That's not the point. We lived in the same city, okay?
Hell, we live together. I cook for
We
you. We
lived
live
together.
together. Remember the barbecue? I literally,
You did.
I
You
had
threw
to
down that
debone
barbecue.
the chicken.
You threw down for that barbecue. Wasn't that 4th of July?
Yeah,
Mm.
it was
Mm.
our
Hannah.
other roommate's birthday, Hannah.
Yeah.
We couldn't find boneless chicken breast to save our lives that day for some reason.
Chicken breasts are easy on this week.
No, you get the breast meat. Sometimes it's on the bone. This man said breast meat's never on the bone. Like he never had fried breast before.
Sir, how you not have? Look, Nate,
I need
you
like a
to.
bone, but
Yeah, there's bone on chicken breast.
You
Have
ever
you not?
ordered white meat from like
Please don't do that.
Popeyes,
Don't do
KFC?
that to yourself. That stuff is dry.
Either way it goes, it's still white meat.
It is it's like one of
But
those
either
pieces.
way it goes, I still had to take that shit off the bone, and I did that like a pro.
Mm. Well,
It was
chicken
a
thighs
whole
where it's at.
Nate, we know what the hell we ate.
Oh, we know. Trust me, I know a chicken thigh when I know a chicken thigh.
Chicken breast does not have bone in it.
It was on the bone, Nathaniel.
So, you know they have a rib cage, right? Chicken
No,
thigh.
it's fuck it. No, it's fucking. We're not gonna sit here and argue with this all night. But either way it goes, I cooked for you that day. Made those good ass baked beans with the brown sugar. You know what I'm talking
We
about.
need to come back together and like just throw down. I miss cooking for people.
I cooked for you plenty of times, man. But that was a good ass barbecue dinner that I made. That I threw down that night.
Man, oh, I miss those making days. I used to cook for so many people.
Yeah, I live in my Zella now. I gotta drive in the making.
Good days. Okay, so we're gonna do a would you rather and then close everything out.
Ooh. We should
Um,
have those cards. You're like, we're gonna do a couple shuffles the deck. What?
I still have 3 I've never read, but I'm like, yeah,
What
it's
three
not.
are they? We might be able to do those.
So I don't know. Okay, all right. First, let me do this one. Would you rather watch something erotic with your lover or listen to your lover read erotica while you touch yourself? Oh, I like this.
Can you read it off again?
So, would you rather watch something erotic with your lover or listen to your lover read erotica while you touch yourself?
Probably read erotica while I touch myself.
Same. Like, I need to tell this to somebody.
You said film it
I'm like, I want to do
when
it.
you start an OnlyFans for random things.
Girl, that would be fun too. Oh my God. Let's go ahead and do this. This is
What's this let's business?
huh? Look, I'm talking to myself and I'm okay with it because that sounds like a plan.
Because Vernon, I love you, but let's be real. I don't know if we can do an OnlyFans channel together.
Nate could join. What's up, Nate?
Don't give him ideas.
I'm not. I'm joking, Nate. I am joking. But
as long as I get a cut, I'm fine.
okay, since we negotiated that, I need to know what this cut is supposed to be. Like, are you talking about like 50%, or are you trying to get part of Shane's cut? Like,
Wait, what's my cut? I didn't know I had a cut.
I got her contribution.
Okay, so let's do this 50-50, and you and Nate can just go ahead to decide what y'all 50 looking like because I'm
Wait
here
a
by
minute. So I
myself.
do all the work, but you get the money?
Ooh,
What work are you doing?
mm, I'm here to be messy. Y'all don't mind me.
You ain't no damn pimp. You ain't have a pimp outfit in that closet of yours.
I got one close enough.
What is that?
Close enough is not the same.
Of the Willy Wonka outfit? Really, Nathaniel?
Bitch, that's hilarious. Willy Wonka's a pimp. Well, it makes sense because you know those
Oompa
what's
Loompas?
Oompa Loompas. He was pimping them out. Let's be real.
Oompa, Oompa,
Do
Oompa dee
do
doo.
do. I
I do some
Willy
things for some
Wonka's house.
candy for you.
Oh lordy. Okay, so here's the three never have I ever's that I have not done. So never have I ever had sex in a cornfield, and I haven't
A
because
cornfield?
girl, Children of the Corn got me scared. It
Oh
still
no, I
do. I'm
watched
not
Jeepers Creepers did that for me.
child. We don't.
For me.
Yeah, insects is
Mm,
another thing.
yeah, fuck them. The other one, I feel like this is a yes for you, Shane. Never have I ever had whiskey dick. Whiskey dick.
Yeah.
Okay. No for me because I don't drink whiskey like that. But I have had drunk sex if we're going to broaden it. And the last one is never have I ever admitted a weird fetish to someone. And I'm like,
I have.
same. And it's like, this is this that's the purpose of this damn podcast. But what did he just say? What did he say?
The reason? Nate didn't say anything.
Oh, I was like,
Did you hear the question, dear? The last one he just read.
About that.
Yeah, never have I ever admitted a weird fetish to someone.
What do you call weird fetish?
that's a
Well,
good
damn.
question. That's a good question because you know a
Okay,
lot of
now you know what. That is a very good question.
now I'm intrigued. Nate, what is a weird fetish to you?
What's a weird fetish to you, Nathaniel?
Throw something out there.
This would be a weird fetish.
Piss.
Or scat.
Ew, body fluids like that. I can see blood play as well.
That'd be more of a weird fetish. No, honestly, some weird fetishes are pain.
Yours are too. What are you talking about?
I didn't say they weren't.
What untamed fetish do you have, sir?
I said I didn't say they weren't untamed, like weird fetishes. I'm just saying you thought you had some weird fetishes, but
I just have some unfulfilled ones.
I'm
we're
just
talking
learning.
about discussing weird fetishes. Are we not?
Yeah, I think one of my weird ones was what was it? Having sex in the church. It's not really, but to some people that is weird.
I've done it.
Supposedly that's a very common spot for some people.
Yeah, but it's still
Because
considered
it's
weird.
always open and it's easy to find the spot.
Yeah. So
Perfect
I
for kids.
think that would be a great idea to
Or
define
priests.
weird fetish.
Mm-hmm. Because
But then again, it's also what's weird for you might be normal for someone else.
Yeah.
Well,
I have to make a poll about this one because god damn it, Nate made us think.
ain't it? I want to know what. All right. So for those who listen to the podcast, find me on whatever social media I'm on. I don't know if I'll still be on Twitter by the time this episode airs. So find me on my Instagram.
Because I'm curious. We can always Google weird fetishes.
You know, and Google makes everything weird though. So it's like
Shit, everything leads to AIDS.
true.
Like, man, I have congestion. That could be
Like
such and such that could lead to AIDS. What?
like I didn't know until recently that there is a kink for people who enjoy being infected with STIs.
Yes, that's a bug catcher.
Yeah, I was
Bug
like,
chaser.
interesting.
There's
Like,
also CNC,
What's that?
consensual non-consent.
Oh, rape play.
oh, yes. Consensual non-consent. That's very
Hobophilia
interesting.
is
Hobophilia
all
is a thing?
Hobophilia is
Yeah.
all about sexual fantasies of homeless people. I think that's a little weird.
Yeah, that sounds very manipulative. Unless it's one of those you're
Then
dressing
there
up
is
like a.
something people have desires to have sex with someone's armpit.
Oh yes. Would I do that? If I'm not musky, I might do something like that.
Oh God. Infant play I also find a little weird.
Oh, age play.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a lot of interesting things out here. But before, like, we going down on a tangent that's not going to end. So we're gonna wrap everything up. Shane, do you have any last words that you would like to share with the audience?
Well, like I said in my podcast, not my podcast, in this podcast, age gaps aren't inherently bad, but it is also very important to understand who you are and what you want
Mm,
when it comes down to what you want in friendships, a romantic relationship, and your business, like professional relationships. If they treat you like a human being and an equal, that's a good starting point. But if they like to downplay what you want to do or your goals, take a step back and think
mm,
if this is someone you want to keep in your life. And if they are, sometimes people are great resources. It is okay to use someone as a resource when it comes down to furthering your career. I don't care what anyone says. A good recommendation is a good fucking recommendation.
mm-hmm.
You can keep them at arm's length, but be cordial. You ain't friends, but their word will get you far. So that's fine. You don't have to like everybody, but if they're useful and you can keep a cordial relationship, go for it. Because I do that. There's some bitches I don't like, but I'm like, when I leave this place, I'm gonna have a bomb ass recommendation.
Facts. Well, Shane, thank you so much for being you and being so amazing. To the audience out there, thank you all so much for listening to the Holiloquy podcast, where we step out and speak on sexuality. And just in
And you met
case,
my fiance.
oh yeah, thank you, Nate.
Introducing the Daniels.
And just in case no one else told you this today, you are beautiful, you are worthy of happiness and joy, you are enough and then some. You may not live up to the expectations of others, but that is okay. You are only required to walk in your own shoes. May each day
Hell fucking yeah.
lead you towards abundance. There we go. With that
You only
said,
need to be you and only you. And fuck who says differently.
love you all and see you next episode.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you for listening to the Holiloquy podcast, where we step out and speak on sexuality. You can subscribe to the podcast through your favorite podcasting app and find us on the web at www.holiloquy.com. That's www.heauxliloquy.com. Share the podcast with your friends and join the conversation.